on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true. And it feels alright when they come and say.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. It is the Fans Forum on Monday night, and to welcome to George, Barry, Ian, John, Kevin and Darren as we chat about Newcastle United for the next hour. Plenty to talk about, even though it is the close season. I guess we'll start with the story that me and Ian were chewing the fat about a little bit earlier on Messenger, and that is the furore. And I use that word lightly over this Newcastle United shirt. Honestly, some people will, spend their lives looking for fault, and ultimately this one is just another in the long list of attacks on Castore. Some of them have been, I would say, worthwhile deliveries. George, we know you went through this last year. You ordered a shirt and it came, and when it eventually came, it was the wrong size. But this whole badge thing, George, I've got to be honest, mate. You can look at anything and say, that looks wrong, but I think it's much ado about nothing. I think there's a lot of content being made on this, the last 24 hours, and it's content, it's clickbait. People going up to the ground and getting this shirt back. I appreciate £70 a lot of money for anybody to spend on something, but at the end of the day, that really is not a design fault. It's the way that badge is, and unfortunately, somebody somewhere has come up with this unique way of looking at it and going, well, it looks like a T. It doesn't. It's an I. It's an I. Anybody, I think some people are looking at it, for me, as hard as they can to make it look like a T. I think it's crazy. I mean, I could be preaching to the converted here. I could be going against everybody on the panel. I don't know, because I'm not spoken about it. But I just think any excuse to attack Newcastle, then people will use it. And, sometimes our fans just fall hook, line and sinker for whoever's come up with this, George?
Awesome.
No, he's frozen.
He's gone.
Barry, what's your take on this?
It's really hard. I mean, I've just been talking to the guys there, and I'm just trying desperately to look at Ian's shirt there, because that's the same sort of embroidered, isn't it, as the badge on the new other side, mate. And this, like you say, Steve, it's all over the internet. It's been picked up. And to be honest, the guy I watched was showing, he interviewed a load of people outside the ground. And to be honest, on some of them, it's not just the double T. It's the A doesn't look right. It looks poor quality stitching in general. It doesn't look as good as some of the other shirts where they have been embroidered. The lettering is very close to the bottom of the blue bar that it's sitting in. It just looks poor. And I'm gutted, because I love the shirt. I think the shirt looks mint. I've just ordered 2 of them online yesterday. And obviously Darren was saying there that it doesn't matter to him. And I'm thinking, it's a really hard one, because does it matter? It's a Newcastle shirt, but it's 70 quid. It's 140 quid I've just spent on 2 shirts. And if, God forbid, then Castore does recall it and start redoing them. I mean, I am puzzled to hell why they haven't brought it out with the white surround. So it's not embroidered. It's actually the white surround stitch like they're advertising for the players, because I think that looks really smart as well. It's just, you'd think there would have been, after all exactly what you said, Steve, after all the hassle they had last year, you would have thought there would have been absolutely spot on this season. Nothing went wrong. Nobody could have a go at them. And they've messed up. I honestly, I'm not gonna have a slanging match with another YouTuber, right? But I think the coverage that's been given to it, it's other people's opinions, and I respect everyone's opinion. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I watched exactly the same podcast that you guys are talking about, and I heard what a lot of these people said about the shirt. And there was mixed opinions. Some people can see it, some people can't see it. Some people think that they're going to take a shirt back immediately. One bloke I saw, he caught him outside the club shop,
he bought the shirt. He haven't even looked at it, and he's given an opinion on it. So you can't give an opinion on it, I'm afraid, unless you've looked at the shirt, mate. I've got to be honest as well. Some of the people who've covered it are the same people who say they know what's going on with the extension to the stadium. They knew everything about the takeover. You have to take podcasts, including this one, because it's all about opinions, with a pinch of salt. We're all here to give an opinion. What I've tried not to do on this show is to clickbait things and to push things out there, which I think will only do the club maybe more short-term harm. Look, it's a nice strip. We've got two lads on the panel who I'll come to in a bit who are wearing it. Don't seem to be unduly concerned. They're not sitting in a dark room hiding from it. So, I mean, ultimately for me, you pay money, you pay your money, you take your choice. And I know we were laughing and joking about the guy saying it could be like a collector's item because it's misspelt. Well, yeah, I get what the guy's saying, but it's not misspelled. It's the way that the stitching lies. It's unfortunate, but it's the way that the stitching lies. And it's one of those things. Somebody's picked up on it. Have a go at Newcastle. Have a go at Castore. And it's caused a bit of a storm, and that's the way it's meant to be. Ian, I mean, give us your view, mate. And again, I don't expect everyone on the panel to agree with me. You might think I'm talking out my backside, but Ian, what's your thoughts on it?
I can't see that it's much different to the quality of the previous badges. It looks fairly similar. It's this is why there's quite a bit of talk, I think, about the changing club crests to make it easier to print, to get better quality or embroider as it is on this situation. And probably the same people who are complaining about the fact that the I and the T are together. I do understand it. Like, understand if you pay 70 quid, you do want it to be as good as possible. But I don't think it's that bad. I'd never noticed it until it was pointed out. When it's pointed out, you can see it, but it's not. I don't think it's the end of the world. And I think you've got to look at it as soon as the badge changes. The same people who are jumping on podcasts and sort of fueling the fire are probably going to complain that the badge has changed to a circular badge to make it easier to print. So for me, I haven't bought one yet. I will be buying one. It's not a massive big deal. I just couldn't be bothered queuing up, if I'm being honest. And so, yeah, but it's each to their own, isn't it?
Each to their own. You've just took the words out of my mouth. Each to their own. You want to go and queue up and stand there and get your shirt early, go for it. You know what I mean? If you want to stay there, be there at 7:30 in the morning, go for it. I've got nothing, no problem with that. You know what I mean? It's great. It was great to see those images coming out of the ground where there's people queuing around the ground, on a day as it was to get the strips. It's fantastic. That's what you want. I'm sick, for the last 14 years, I've been walking around Newcastle city centre. And seeing kids wearing Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal strips. Now we're seeing kids walking around with black and white strips again. It's fantastic, man, and that's what it's all about. And again, Ian, this is exactly the same as that top that came out a few years ago, which appeared to have a number 4 on it.
That was worse.
Yeah, I mean, the old cynic in me often suggests that this is a marketing ploy as well. Sometimes on behalf of the, not that they needed to really promote this shirt because the release over the Sam Fender weekend was a master stroke, but getting people talking about it. You know what I mean? People going to buy it, and I think it's much ado about nothing. We'll speak to somebody who's got the shirt on. Then Darren, you've got it there. What's your thoughts on it? You can look at it firsthand.
I've just been looking at it there. To be fair, it is. I'm not, but I've looked at it. It is the stitching on it, but I've got the shirt. You know what I mean? Like shirt. I've got it from the official club shop. I've got time to get me. My brother got the top for us, but I haven't got time to get in the club shop and complain about the stitching on it. I've got better things to do with it. It's the shirt. It's way how it's how the stitching is. You can't help it. It's one of them things.
It's mint on, Darren. It looks mint on the one you're wearing. It looks.
I know.
Really nice.
I like
great.
I like it. I really do. I haven't had a top for since Ashley been there. To be fair, it's the first one I've got since Ashley been there. So since after Ashley era, so I like it. You know what I mean? Yes, the stitching on it, but I prefer that. It means more personal. You can feel it more, doing it when it was plastic. It didn't feel right, but it feels right touching it. You know what I mean?
Sticky on.
That's good, mate. Listen, at the end of the day, mate, you've got your shirt, you're happy with it, and that's really all that matters. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. But you know, this story, we had to cover it tonight. Everybody else is. And we've got to cover this one. Thanks to Kevin, just pointed this out. It's now officially on the NUFC.co.uk website. Newcastle United have completed a deal to sign 18-year-old Gambia forward Yankuba Minte from Danish side of Dent Ball Club, subject to approval. The promising attacker will officially complete his move to the Magpies on the 1st of July this year, before immediately joining Dutch champions and fellow UEFA Champions League competitors Feyenoord on loan for the 23-24 season. A highly coveted prospect, Minte has already made 17 senior appearances for OB in the Danish Superliga, scoring 4 goals and registering 6 assists. Newcastle United sporting director Dan Ashworth said, "We are very pleased to be bringing a player with Yankuba's high potential to Newcastle United. He has done extremely well in his first full season in Denmark, and he has a promising career ahead of him. We look forward to working with him in his exciting phase of his development, and we're excited to see how he performs at Feyenoord, a club that also has a strong development record of its own. As well as supporting the first team with players for the here and now, we have a clear philosophy to invest in emerging talent, and we want to provide a player pathway that will help to build and sustain long-term successes." So we'll come to that after we've gone along the bottom row and asked about the strip. George, hopefully you haven't frozen again. Just want to know your views on the strip and the there's a slight delay now, George, on your internet, so it's not good tonight.
Well,
it's not good, George. I'm gonna put you back out and come back in again, mate. Okay, John, just your views on this strip. You've got it on. What's it like?
I'll give it to you guys. Just want to mention that, I'll talk about Minte quickly, if you don't mind.
Well, we'll do that after this, John.
Yeah,
So
sure. Okay.
Go for the strip first, please.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Sorry.
What's your views on the strip?
Right, the strip for me, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I like the design of it as well, the material, and it's beautiful, Steve. Honestly, the one thing I know people's going on about, there's double T's on the badge. A lot of people don't look at it, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? I just bought the shirt. I knew it was good quality, and I just bought it. I think for me, it's the best shirt I've bought for a long, long time. Yes, I know it's got a story, but at the end of the day, Steve, I'm happy with it, and it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, as someone says, it is a collector's item. George will get you. George will get you. You're back in. What's your take on this strip thing?
Well, mine was a bit like yours because I looked at it very closely. The ones that were complaining on the platform, and I thought, well, yeah, but it's just the way it's been made. If there's a word which I'd use with all cast story stuff, it's what even in the bloody shipyard we used to have quality control. It seems as though they don't, and I don't think it's a mistake. It's just a bad piece of finishing. That's all. As I say, a bit more quality control, and it wouldn't have been an issue. But you've got to think. Well, here's new owners, big orders coming in. And it don't seem as though they can get that right. You know, there's some simple things still missing. And this is a simple thing for me. I don't think there's anything seriously wrong with it. It's just poor quality control, that's all. And when I get the chance, I'll have one as well, lads. I'll be sitting in the black and white as well. So I'm a bit like you, Steve. I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup in some ways. However, if people have paid £70, they're entitled to a quality garment, and some people don't think they've got a quality garment, and that's for me, that's quality issue with the manufacturers.
Now,
and I don't get this business about the change in a badge making it difficult. The technology now for embroidery and doing things like this is incredible. I mean, it's straightforward stuff for most businesses. I just don't understand that. So I think it's all right, but and I'll have one when I get the chance.
Yeah, Doug Hall says, looked at 2 old shirts from different seasons and the stitching looks exactly the same. I think that's my point, Doug. I haven't had time to rummage through shirts in that today, but I don't think it looks any different, Mark. He says it should be addressed if some people are unhappy. The club must put its hand in the air. Well, it's Castoria's fault, not the club's. Apologise and knock a fiver off until it's sorted. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it is, for me, Kevin, I just think this is a bit of a farce. I think it's just been blown up by lots of different people in the last 24 hours. And I think I don't think there's any major issues. I just think it's exactly like that number 4 on the strip, which people either liked or they didn't like.
Yeah, it's a storm in a teacup, essentially. I was driving back yesterday and trying to see what was being said about it and all the rest of it. People are not happy. You're not going to keep everybody happy in a mass exodus trying to get this new shirt. At the same time, it's a manufacturing issue. I completely agree with George. I worked at Yamaha, and we had a massive quality control thing. If it was like an assembly line, if it wasn't right, it didn't go off the line. We had to rebuild it. We had to redo it, essentially. So it's a manufacturing issue. It's a Castoria issue. It's not a club issue. They can shout and scream and do whatever they want in terms of their opinion. They've got their opinion, absolutely. But at the same time, I'll be buying it, but I might not buy the one with the stitch badge. I might buy the pro version, which will be coming out later, which the actual players will wear. Because obviously you've got the stitching and it's going to give them problems with bait. That's just the pro footballer issue because they don't like stitching on there. They want a printed one. So I'll probably go after that one. A little bit more expensive, but you're going to get the full technology of the shirt. And I love the apparel business. I've got a lot of apparel myself from within the coaching world. So it's important. For a regular fan, it is what it is. I mean, just little pick and fall, just looking at it for the lads who've got it on, could be just a little bit bigger. So you can get that correct, again, but that comes down to quality control thing. That comes down to small, minute things from Castoria. We can't throw it all at the club. It's not, Castoria wasn't ever the new ownership's deal. It was a national deal. So I think, again, they're having problems. My mum went to the shop today and you can't even get a shirt for loving the money. It's which is brilliant. However, I said, well, just wait until the rushes die down. There's a big hoopla all about it. It's a football shirt. I'm sure there'll be plenty more coming out further down the road. It's not a big deal. Again, it's a storm in a teacup. I'd rather talk about other things going on outside of off the field than a football top at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if it could be slanted stripes or whatever. It's the players who wear it what really matter, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, there we go. We've covered it. Yeah, go on, George. Just to let you know, you're on a slight delay. So what we'll have to do is we'll come to you each time. But I'll let you comment now. But when you're commenting about 20 seconds behind everyone else. So if you go for it now, George.
Right. Okay. I think you already know, Steve. I like the design of the shirt generally. I love the V-neck. I love the way the sleeves are finished off. I love the width of the stripes. And for me, it harkbacks to a shirt I used to wear as early as 1960, designed by Charlie Minton. In fact, it's almost identical. So it's a great shirt. Don't let this issue take anything away from the shirt, because it's a great shirt.
Geordie Tune for Life says to you, George. He says, George, a bit of bad finishing. We're not talking about Chris Wood.
Oh, Chris Wood.
All right, let's get back to more important stuff. Players. Tom Dixon came in early, Barry, with this one. Newcastle remain firmly in the race to sign James Maddison. So it's come across on the Sky headlines today. Newcastle are seemingly in the race and now at the front of that race. I mean, it's a big thing as well. BT says, with wage demand said to be excessive for Diaby and Szoboszlai, should we put more focus on potential signings for players who have seen their clubs relegated this season? That would include Maddison, of course. So Maddison, it's a player I've wanted for 3 windows. I've written it off. I've got to be honest. I just genuinely thought the bus had passed with him on it. I couldn't see him arriving, but it looks as if we're a little bit closer this time round, Barry.
I mean, as a player, Maddison's class. His goals, his abilities there, his assists and everything is exactly what we want, Steve. He would free Bruno to go forward. My only concern is that the story, like you say, has changed dramatically, and it's changed because he's lost interest in Spurs, or it looks like he's lost interest in Spurs. I'm getting again, as you say, this is my opinion. I had the feeling Spurs was his first choice. Once they didn't get Champions League football, he's then considering other places. And you sort of think, is that the sort of player we really want? Is his heart in it? Is he just coming to us for that reason on its own? I mean, I know we talk about Champions League football being such a big attraction, but you want players to come to the club regardless. You know, the likes of Trippier came to the club when we were in absolute dire straits, and the guy is class. He is probably the most loyal footballer I've seen at Newcastle in donkey's years for what he's done for the club. And just with it's with Maddison, you think, is that there? And it doesn't seem like it. It seems like if there was other choices, we wouldn't necessarily be his first choice. But I can see both sides. He's an unbelievable player, and he would fit us down to the ground. So I'm stuck in the middle. I do think it's a shame that the guy whose name we can't pronounce seems to be getting priced out of our price range, because I think he looks class as well. And I love the fact this Minter that was signed. Everything that seems to get mentioned about him is he's an absolute star of the future as well. So I think the club's obviously kicking into gear transfers wise, and I can't wait to see who else comes in, to be honest.
Yeah, and thanks for doing the list, Barry. We're, you know, it's starting to add up. I'm going to do a special show with Ben Jacobs at the weekend, looking into a lot of these players and asking, you know, who he thinks are realistic targets. We'll probably get through about 3 on the list, I would imagine, with Ben's answers, but we'll give it a good go.
7 players today, Steve. seven players who haven't been mentioned that we've been linked with today. I can't believe it.
Fantastic. Well, look forward to the updated list. Ian, your views on Maddison and Minter?
I didn't think it was going to happen, being honest. Just all the stories were sort of leading him to go south. So I can't really disagree with what Barry says. But I think it's a harder sell for, you know, he's basically Southerner, isn't he? You know, so it's harder sell to get somebody to. Everyone thinks Newcastle's shite, you know, like from the south, and like they do, you know, generally if they've not been up here, not spent much time up here, they don't understand how great a place it is. The girlfriends' wives don't fancy it; they want to stay like close to London. So sometimes it might be an harder sell, but the fact he's now saying, or it's reported that he's saying that he wants to come, once he gets here, he's going to love it, isn't he? You know, so it doesn't really matter how he gets here. Let's just get him here. And if we sort of looked at players who maybe had a preference to another club and then ended up coming to us, we wouldn't have Botman if the reports are true, you know, because he was off to Milan, wasn't he? So the reality is, let's get him here. He'll love it. Everyone will love him. He'll score loads of goals for us, and we'll be a much better team and squad with him rather than without him. So yeah, I'm hoping he comes. He is quality. And
we've signed another youngster straight out of Feyenoord, but this guy comes with another big reputation. That's 2 really exciting forwards in Minter and Garang Kual.
Yeah, I've got a look at him on. I looked at him when he first got reported that we were interested in, and he actually looks quality. He looks like he could come into the squad certainly now. I understand he's obviously going on a year's loan, which is probably better for him for his development. Keep playing a lot, but he looks absolute quality. So yeah, it's a masterstroke. Especially, I don't know what there's a figure on the reports because I've not seen anything yet. I was just trying to have a look. Then what is it? 7 million, I think it was reported before or something.
Yeah.
So if we've got him for 7 million straight away, he's probably next season. By the time he gets to us, he's probably going to be worth 3 times that without even kicking a ball in the Premier League. You know, so yeah it's brilliant business.
Yeah, the club haven't mentioned the price, and to be honest, I did look at NUFC.com as well. Nothing on there because if the club don't have it on there, certainly you tend to have it on .com, but nothing about price on there. But yeah, that was the rumored price. Simon says 7 million euros, 5.8 million pounds. So interesting stuff. Okay, Darren, Maddison. You know, it looks as if we're at the front of the queue now, which will be great, but a lot of work to do. Personal terms would need to be agreed, and another youngster in the club.
But getting a youngster in the club it's good because he's going on loan. He'll get experience, and he'll work his way up to come to the Premier League. He can't just come in there play in the third team, can he? So go on loan, get experience of playing the first team somewhere else. And like he said before, next year his price could be doubled or trebled if he has a good season. But it's good on Newcastle are doing that now, getting young players in, putting them on loan, get experience, and when the time comes, they'll be ready for the first team. Newcastle won it, do you know what I mean? That's good going forward. Jim Maddison, it's everybody's speculation, but everything's done in house now, aren't they? I do think he wants to come, like Kevin was saying before. Botman, if he didn't want to come, we would never had him. He was in the link with AC Milan, and we weren't getting him. They were favourites, but no one knows these stuff. Steve, the deal might be already done. It's just waiting. There could be waiting after the international break because the internationals weekend, so it could be happening after that. You know what I mean? To get done and dusted. So the club are working behind the scenes. We all know that. They're not going to come out and tell everybody. Everybody's speculation. I'm quite confident Maddison will sign. I do think that. I do think Maddison will sign with Newcastle.
Okay, good stuff. George, what's your take on Maddison potentially coming to Newcastle now? It looks a bit closer. Still a lot of work to do, of course. Talking rumour of his management team being at Newcastle yesterday. Potentially thrashing out a deal. I've got to say that's alleged, but that exciting. And what about Minty as well?
Well, the younger ones first. They're both absolutely great for Newcastle United. Minty will come back from his loan deal. He'll be ready to knock on the door of the first team, I suspect, and be worth a lot more than people think we've paid for him. Maddison, my only concern about Maddison's the same as Barry, is his desire. Does he really want to come? And that's still a worry for me. The other thing is somebody, I can't see much with my eyes on the strap, but somebody wrote along the bottom saying, why don't we concentrate on players from the relegated clubs? Well, that leads to one thing, relegation. We fill your dressing room full of people who have been relegated, and guarantee you'll not be long before you're relegated and all. So no, thank you. Let's have Maddison. The rest can go and whistle, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't think people would want to see us signed 4 or 5. I think Maddison's a good shout. I think, Steve Hastie's a big fan of Ward-Prowse. I think Ward-Prowse would be a good signing if we fail to get Maddison. But yeah, you're right, George. If you sign 3 or 4 of these, then that's what you end up with. Potentially a lot of players who've just been relegated and could.
Well, I agree with what you've just said about Ward-Prowse. Either or, but not both.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, John, your views on the Maddison rumours today and on Minty. You had something to say about him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, glad Minty signed first as well, but about him going to Feyenoord as well, I think he's going to play for a cracking manager on his slot. I mean, this manager is going to be the next best thing in the next couple of years. He is fantastic. He's at the right club with the right manager to learn from him. I think he's going to get better and better and better, Minty. So he's at the right league as well. On to James. I think it'd be a cracking sign if we get him. But, I mean, they could, 1 or 2 could be split on him, but if we get him again, if we don't, we don't. But James Maddison would be a cracking player after he came to Newcastle. He's got 10 goals with Leicester last season, 30 appearances, 9 assists. I think if he comes to Newcastle, play with better players like Bruno and Joe, I think it'd be cracking. It'd be a cracking signing. I have no problems with him, Steve. And listen, 50 million. But then again, I think they try and get more because they got to pay Norwich an extra 15% as well. A lot of people don't know that at all whatsoever. But that could go close to, I think it'll probably go to deadline day maybe. I could be wrong, but I'd take him, Steve. I'd take him.
If it's deadline day, you don't want him because it's too late. Eddie Howe said he wants players in early, so he can't go to deadline day.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come in a bit earlier. That would be great.
I do as well because we want to get the players in before pre-season so they can get a pre-season under Eddie, and then by the time the season comes in, then we'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Okay, Kevin, your views on potentially signing Maddison and the young lad signing Minty?
I don't know too much about Minty. Again, previously said, the loan move is probably the perfect loan move for him. to learn a structure, to learn a specific style of football, which Feyenoord will probably play as attacking. From what I would like to believe, I haven't watched much Dutch football over the past few years, even though when I went to Feyenoord, we battered them 3-2. So what does that tell you? But no, look, the club are creating pathways for young players to come into, rather than going into the 23s and just be a 23 player, then just go and fall away on the wayside. They're trying to get players in who are ready to go into a different realm of football. Like Grant Coel went up to Hearts. Yes, it was a struggle for him. Cultural change, all the rest of it. Again, this boy's from Denmark. I mean, Denmark to Holland's not too far away, so it's very similar type of football. But again, it's the coaching element, and for his growth as a player and as a man, as a young man, to get better. Yes, he might not get playing time. Yes, he might not get this, whatever. But it's a great move for him to actually come into Newcastle United for peanuts and then go to final playing in the Champions League in a European competition. Yes, he might not play, but again, it's been around that environment versus just being dropped into the deep end with Newcastle United and saying, okay, well, fill your boots and we expect this of you. So I would have to have a little look at him and see, but from what Barry was saying in the chat prior to the show, whatever, in the private chat, what we have, it seems like the quality player, and I'll have to see my own eyes on that, that's opinions. But the Maddison one, I'm on the fence, to be honest. I didn't see much back end. If he was that top level play, he would have dragged Leicester out of a relegation battle. I think he down tools. I think he knew the writing was on the wall. However, pre that, he's an England international. He's young. And I agree with Barry and George. Does he want to be here? Does he want to move north? Obviously, the lights of London might actually sway that. But I'm dealing with all sorts of I almost swore there crap today, so I haven't read much in terms of what the news reports are, or whatever. But if he signs, he signs. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I think there's other irons in the fire where we can pull something out the blue, where we think, like the boy, our mate Dom, it's like he may be a better player. You just don't know. He's one of those ones because he's unknown in the English Premier League, but Eddie Howe likes a Premier League player. And for the age of Maddison, what is he? 25-ish, 26, somewhere around in there.
He's prime, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's played however many games for Leicester. I don't know how many that is, but he's been their talisman. He's been their literal shining light across however many seasons. Now coming into the prime of his career to now want to play European football, want to go to the next level. Again, is that what he wants? Are we the second choice? Look, if he were the second choice, I'll take him. Tottenham, you know what I mean? So again, it's just where you're going to put him, where you're going to place him. Is he going to play as a 10? Is he going to play wide right, wide left, whatever? But that gives Eddie Howe options in shape and formation. So it all, again, like we've said before on the show, it's all about price. It's all about value, what Leicester want. I wouldn't go any more than 40 million, 45 million for him. Again, it's just about value for the player. And if you actually, within the deal of, pay structures and things like that, and obviously with Bruno hopefully signing this potential new contract, what's been rumoured to be the highest player in Newcastle United, paid player in Newcastle United's history, does he want to match that? Now, again, those are fine details what the club have to work out and promote the club. And I listened to a little bit of a Jamie Rubin podcast, a business sports podcast yesterday, and he actually moved up here and lived up here, and he's a Southerner and he loves it. Obviously, with his business interactions within the city, developing the city, whatever, with the race course, etc. So he understands it as a Southerner. A lot of ex-players who are Southerners get it and love it. So, I mean, for me, it's the best city in the world, but it's not the worst place in the world to play a game of football, is it? So why would he was in Leicester for years. He was in Leicester. I mean, no disrespect to Leicester, but it's not exactly the bright lights in Newcastle or wherever it is in playing Champions League football.
163 games, 43 goals for Leicester. So, had a great career, you're right. Okay, halfway through the show, time for the ads. A big thanks to all our sponsors. Skips and Bins, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website, skipsandbins.com. Easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks to Mr. Vicky's sauces, which are handmade in Cumbria. Their website is mrvickies.co.uk. If you want to contact the guys, email info@mrvickies.co.uk or telephone 01768 210 102. Big thanks to New Workwear. They are an agile and dedicated workwear provider launched in 2018. For more information, go to their website, newworkwear.com. Big thanks, as always, to Media Arts for the help with the video side of things. If you want to support the channel, hit the subscribe button, become a subscriber today. Hit the thumb up under the video, which likes the video, and click share to share to your other social media. Click join if you want to become a member of the channel for as little as $1.99, or take a one-off payment for the cult membership. You can get in via this QR code if you've got a smartphone, or look for membership pack on the website, nufcmatters.com. What do you get for your one-off £25 payment? You get a scarf, a pen, and a cup, and a membership card, and entry into the monthly draw. Don't forget, if you want a car sticker, all you need to do is subscribe to the show and then email John at NUFC Matters, and he will post you a free car sticker out. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. And we also support the food bank on this channel. NUFCfansfoodbank.co.uk is the virtual matchday bucket where you can make a virtual donation 365 days of the year. The new Alan Shearer raffle is underway. 150 tickets at £1 a ticket. You could win a limited edition signed Alan Shearer ball from the 260 dinner. Enter now at nufcmatters.com. We've got a few events coming up. August the 5th sees Gavin Peacock at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Tickets are £10, and you can get them now from nufcmatters.com. Our Christmas event takes place on the 7th of December at the Tyneside Irish Centre, and that's an evening with Frank Clark. Tickets are £15 and available from nufcmatters.com. Finally, Waddle, Keegan, Beardsley and Friends, the class of 84, is on at the Town Theatre and Opera House on Westgate Road in Newcastle on Thursday, January the 23rd. Tickets are now available from the Town Theatre and Opera House.co.uk or telephone 0844 2491 000. That's the box office telephone number 0844 2491 000. Okay, just before the ads, George, I think you wanted to say something. Go on, mate.
It was just interesting to hear people saying about how people adopt the city when they come here. For all the years I was admissions tutor in a university, I was competing against Southampton for our course. And of course, people, particularly parents, wanted their kids to go south and not come to Newcastle. So I had to work hard to get kids to come to Newcastle University. The end of that term, when they had 3 years and they got their degree, or 4 years and got their degree, if I could find 60 jobs on Tyneside, none of the buggers would go home. They would have all been happy to stay. Nobody wanted to go home.
Kevin's asking, Kevin Pryor was asking, has anyone seen Luke Edwards' latest stuff? I've got to be honest, I tend not to read a lot of the journalists' stuff on social media. I'll follow the ones I want to follow and try not to follow the ones that maybe I don't have as much faith in, put it that way. And Luke falls into that category, I'm afraid. Got nothing against the guy, met him lots of times, just find that his reporting of Newcastle doesn't match my expectations, shall we say. And the fact that he suggested we're only going to sign one player after Yankuba Minte, I think says a lot. I don't think we'll just sign one player going into a Champions League season. And if that is the case, I have to find a hat and eat it. That's for certain, especially with Barry sending me these lists each week with more and more players on. The law of averages says we're certainly going to sign more than one or two players, I would say. But anyway, Moving on. I'm going to ask a question here. The Chronicle are reporting tonight, Barry. Harry Maguire being offered to Newcastle, £30 million fee. The stumbling block would be his wages. He's on 200 million. Harry Maguire interest anybody on the panel, Barry?
No.
Not a
I'd rather poo in my hands and clap.
Move on.
No chance. I mean, is he any better than ones they got, guys?
Next one.
He's no ones and ones.
I've spent
Harry Potter.
I've spent the last 3 years wondering why the hell he was in the England team. I don't want to start wondering why he's in the Newcastle team.
Steve,
No, what man you got wrong? We don't want to get Rob later.
Guys, can I come in? Can I come in quickly? I'd rather sign Harry Styles than Harry Maguire. You know what I mean? At least he's got style, though. At least he's got style.
Yeah.
I like Harry Macas.
Unless they're bringing in a rule where you need 3 goalposts, I wouldn't bother.
Well, really,
it's crazy.
If anybody knows the slightest thing about football and looks at our squad, you can go right across the back. We've got 3 brilliant centre-backs. A 4th one if you count Dan Burn. And I've got to be brutally honest, if I was stuck between Harry Maguire and Jamal Lascelles would win by a country bloody mile. So no, thank you. Don't want Harry Maguire.
Other news, again, surrounding Newcastle United players, and Joelinton is starting his career as a Brazilian international, Barry. That's been a hell of a journey at Newcastle United, that man, hasn't it? I mean, we've talked about him many times on the fans forum, but to see him now, joining up with, his national team stars this week, after, being at Bruno's wedding, of course, in Brazil, they've now got 2 big games coming up against Guinea and Senegal. And it's great. I think a lot of Newcastle players will probably be paying more attention to those games than some of the other matches. They'll obviously watch England because of Wilson and Trippier, but Brazil will almost become a second team to watch now, Barry.
I think it's just what he deserves, Steve. He's had an amazing season. He's improved so much. I know the fans were crying out for him to be picked for the Brazil squad sort of for the last big competition. And he was on the verges of it there, and he's just gone on to improve constantly. They've found his position. He's shown that there always was that player inside. It took us a while to get him in the right position. I think alongside Bruno, he looks absolutely amazing. I mean, the story's knocking about of him chatting to Paqueta, saying, is there any chance of Paqueta coming to make it a threesome? And you just think, Joelinton's class. Most improved player at the club by an absolute mile. I think his attitude's spot on. His ability's getting better all the time. He's 300% for the team. I think the guy's class. Good luck to him. I think if he plays half as well for Brazil as he does for us, he'll turn out to be an absolute regular for them. Yeah,
good luck to him this week. Ian, it's great to see players being picked for the international team. We seem to go through this barren stage, didn't we? Where I know some people don't want them to play for the international team because it means they could get injured. But it's great. It's a sign of having a good team, Ian.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely buzzing for him, especially Joe, because he's been through such an hard time and he's played so well. Like he's obviously a confidence player, and with the previous management. There was no coaching and no confidence instilled in any of the players, apart from maybe Maxi, but it's brilliant for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully he starts the game and they'll give him a fair crack of the whip. And like Barry said, if he gets a chance to play, he will impress. Just hope he keeps his cool and doesn't kick someone into the stands.
Darren, it's an amazing turnaround, isn't it?
Oh, it's totally, because he's went from being like the most not hated play on the rate. No one would put him in the team at all. But they were like, Joelinton really, but it just shows players if you work hard enough, you can turn your career around, and that's what he did. When Eddie Howe come in, he was staying back. He wanted to improve stuff. It was great. It should have been called up a bit earlier, to be honest, Steve. But it's great to see. He's worked hard. He's worked his socks off to get a call up, and then I'm delighted for the bloke. It just shows players who thinks the career's finishing or are not doing good, and it's still a chance out for players to do that. You know what I mean? Like it's just he's a good player. He works hard when he plays, and I think he's still got more to come from Joelinton. I do believe that.
Yeah, George, delighted for Joelinton, I presume.
Couldn't be happier. What I like about to see players, if they work hard to get something, then they're entitled to it. Well, there's a lad that's earned it. And I have to say, I don't know how many times I've apologised to him on this platform or other platforms, because for 2 years he got dog's abuse off me. Even my poor Margie used to sit in the chair when I come home from the match with a minder sitting. I'd come in, I'd say, that bloody Joelinton, what would pay him for? And it was like that for nearly 2 years. I couldn't even see a footballer in him. But then suddenly, magic, it just like somebody switched him on, and he kept going. Couldn't be happier for him. He's earned every kick for his national team, and we'll be behind him, giving him a shove, because he's a real talent. Whoever thought, the stories that came with him were heaped all sorts of rubbish on his shoulders that wasn't necessary. All he needed was some good coaching and some good advice, and he's shown what he can do with it. So, yeah, fantastic, Steve. I couldn't be happier for him.
I like, John, the way they call him an enforcer in the Chronicle. It's like, you never would have ever imagined that Joelinton would ever become that, John.
Yeah, listen, he's not quite Nanganawa type 2 saw yet. But I will say that because I'm a massive fan of him. But Joelinton, right? I mean, you're right. I mean, look. Well, the first season is just a complete write-off, in my opinion. Look, I was honest with him. I didn't think he was good enough for Newcastle. But then again, Steve Bruce can't coach anyone, can he? Let's be real. But as years gone by, when NL took over, he must have the word and say, look, there's a player in there in this guy, right? And what he did, he goes out there, does his stuff. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, who's this player? Right? Joelinton has totally changed. And I think this guy's turned the season around. And he just got on with it, and he got on with it. He played in the position, he played up front, didn't work out. The 10, left, didn't work out. Midfield, I thought, wow, where's this player coming? And I said at the time, he can save about 40, 50 million quid on a midfield. That's exactly what he's done. Joelinton, right? I mean, his name should be the first on the team sheet. He works hard, he goes for it, he tackles, and he can pass the ball. And I'm the first one to say, Steve, that this guy deserves a Brazilian national cap, yeah? And I'm so over the moon for Joe, because he's worked hard. He's 27 now, right? And this guy is just brilliant. Big up to Joelinton. Well-deserved. And let's hope we see him in a yellow jersey.
Yeah, good luck to him. And,
good luck to him.
We might all get a Brazil top, and there'll probably be a spelling mistake on it, and everybody will be going mad. It's a long way to Rio de Janeiro to get that changed. Kevin.
Sorry. Since I'm wearing a yellow one. Well, thankfully it's by Nike, not Castore. So, well, hey, it might be a bit different. It's one of football with the club's great stories over the past 18 months, 2 years, whatever, 3 years. I've been down to Brazil once and met their people, met their culture, and they love a story. They love a player or somebody who's come from nothing to reach the heights of a Brazilian national team in terms of football, because that's, the Brazilians are Brazilians in terms of the football culture. We know that. But it's just a fabulous story from where he came from. I mean, you could tie your shoelaces together. You could hardly run sometimes. It was one of those ones. But, you got to thank Kieran Clark for getting sent off against whoever it was way back when he got pushed back into that. Norwich, yeah, that's right.
Norwich.
I knew it was in the yellow collection. I just couldn't remember the team. He all of a sudden, Masterclass Bruce just put him back in there, and look what's happened. But I think, and I agree with everybody in terms of it, in being a coach, it's the coaching what's actually developed him. Is more of a player. He's had to settle into a new area, like we've said previously about Maddison coming into Newcastle, which is completely different from Hoffenheim to the state of Brazil where you come from. It's a completely different realm. So he's had to learn and grow as a person as well. And I think he's done that. And it's just fabulous, you know, and, you know, he's worth more than 40 million at this point. You know, it's priceless, you know, from what he brings on and off the field. He just seems like a genuinely good lad, big heart. I mean, and he gives everything for the shirt that whatever club he wear. I mean, if he moves on, he'll probably do the same thing for another club. That's the type of person that he is, because he's proud of where he comes from. And this accolade that he's going to get a call up and play against whoever, who did you say, Guinea and somebody else, Ghana, I think it was.
Ghana, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he should get on that park, and even if he kicks people 6 foot above the grass, I mean, that's how he plays, you know, and don't take that out of him. Don't
want it any other way.
Exactly, yeah. Just let Joelinton be Joelinton. Let him go and play for his country and do what he's done for his club, because that'll be the proudest moment for him and his family, and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's just a wonderful story, and I'm just, you know, proud of him, you know, as one of our own, essentially, because we've had to look after him. And I agree with George, because I didn't see a player in there, but eventually we've seen one. And you're just proud of him. It's like one of your own. It's one of your kids going to wherever and playing at a higher level, and the satisfaction to see one of your players making a debut potentially for his home country for the first time ever. It's like a very proud, like a proud dad moment. You know, it's like, well done, son. You've earned that, and you'll progress and move on from that. In this experience, what he has, and he's got Bruno right beside him, not holding his hand, but showing him the ropes, essentially, as an international footballer. I think this will take his game to a next level next year and beyond. So, yeah, just fabulous story, and so proud of him.
Yeah, John Sinclair, is that a junior size, Steve?
No,
He's
it's
done really tough.
wow, it's a large one. What it was, right? I mean, make it quick. I went in and asked for a medium because I tried to lose half a stone. So I tried the medium ones, and I think it flipped her neck. Castor hasn't learned a lot at all from last year at all. So I had to get a size one up. That's exactly what I've done. So I got a large one.
There
You're just massive, John. You just cut, you built. That's what it is. You're just massive.
Oh no. I still got to lose it, baby. But I'll get in there, man. But keep training.
Yeah. And talk about this to finish off with, Barry. Just talk of a fan zone from Sela when they announced the sponsorship. Something you would look forward to going to the ground. I mean, Newcastle fans are creatures of habit. We all have our own little routines and bars and that we go to. We sometimes like to go and see different people, and we go to different places. You know, a bit of a pilgrimage to the food bank for a lot of people as well on a match day. But all in all, a fan zone, I think, is well overdue. It's long overdue, and I don't think it's something I would use. I've got to be perfectly honest, but I think it's a great idea, and I think I think it'll open it up certainly for families going up to the ground. Barry,
see, I don't drink, Steve, so for me, going to the match, you wouldn't go to the pubs and bars before the game, so the fan zone would be ideal for me because it's just gives you that extra bit of time, doesn't it? Being involved with stuff through the club, I think it's a fantastic idea. It just helps build that sort of connection a bit more, because the games you go to, you come away, you feel absolutely gutted that it's, especially when they've won, and it's all over and done with. You know, you're going home. If you've got that extra bit of time around the ground. I mean, as a kid, I remember you used to hang around the stadium for like hours before the match started. There was nothing really happening, but you'd hang around. You'd see the players come in. You know, you'd hang around, give the referee abuse as he came in through the door, that sort of thing. You know,
I wouldn't advise you doing that now, Barry. You'd probably get arrested.
It's a thing gone by, but you made as much of a day of it as you could, and I think going back to that, it's immense. I think it's another thing with the club investing with the fans, and good for them. I think it's something we can only benefit from in the future.
Yeah, it's good to see, Ian. I guess. I mean, I say it's more for young kids, families, but it's something different, isn't it? And it's good to hear the club speaking about that. And Darren Eales again, you know, running out that line about fan engagement. It is important. It's something we've cried out for years. We should be embracing everything that they try and give us on that score, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think you've hit the nail on the head when you said it's going to be good for like younger fans, families, people that maybe wouldn't want to go into the pubs and bars as much or wouldn't take the younger kids in there. I think that'll be ideal. And I'm sure like these aren't stupid people. Like the likes of Darren Eales and such. They will be. As long as I've got a hole in my backside, I'm sure that'll be open as a sort of venue during the week as well, because the town misses Stack, for the music and through the day was a nice place to go. This could be an ideal place, and it'd be a good money maker for the club. It can be open 7 days a week. You can have England games on, whatever, So what I'd like to see is whether it's classed as part of the actual ground, like the club, and whether they'd be able to wangle it so that people who couldn't get tickets could maybe buy a ticket to watch the game in there. I doubt that'll be allowed, but that would be amazing if it was, because it'd give potentially, I don't know what the capacity is going to be, but it might be another 500 or whatever. I don't know, people that could get in there and see the game. If it's a 3 p.m. kickoff, see it live legally.
I mean, I've been to these things at other grounds. Wolves stands out as one that they have. It's sadly, whenever we play Wolves, we tend to pick bad days. Even in the summer, it's raining and it becomes a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, they've got these fan zones. It's overpriced drink. It's burgers. It's pizzas. It's slices. It's that kind of thing. And there's a stage. There's music blaring out. They get an ex-player on from Wolves to talk about, the game ahead. So it's a great idea. It's a great concept. Mighty Wednesday, and a lot of people are saying, like you and me, to be fair, I won't be going. Strange unless they did away day beanback to them, would be bouncing. It's just really because, I do my own thing pre-match. That's the way it is. But I mean, I'd give it a go. But, it's not really, I think it's more for the younger fan. I think or those fans who just like to be close to the ground, have a pint outside the ground and then get in. But depends what entertainment they've got on. And looking at the way Sealer do things, I think it'll be really, really special. Darren, I know you're a dog and parrot regular, but you do go off and do other things after you've been to watch Malcolm give his view before the game. It's about breaking. It's about breaking a tradition, I guess, for some people. But other people will love to go, and it'll certainly it'll corner a particular market, and I think people will go out of curiosity and they like it or they won't. But at least the club are doing something.
Yeah, people like you say, I've been hitting the nail head. After the young generation, I'm so superstitious, Steve. I like to stick to the routine when I do. I'll go to the dog and parrot, I'll listen to Malcolm McDonald, and I'll whip me up, and I'll go and the Shearer's Bar, meet me mate there. But I'm not, the fans all will be good, but it's not for me, Steve. I'm superstitious what I do. I let you do, I go through the same turn. Like, you've got 3 or 4 turns, I've got to go through the same turn, so we'll win that one, you know what I mean? I like to keep the same routine when I go to the matches, Yeah.
Creatures of habit. That's what we are, George. The fan zone is, it's a great idea, George. We'll kind of criticise it. It's another step forward by the club.
No, and I certainly wouldn't because as an 81-year-old youngster, I'll be going. I think it's a great idea. If you look at some of the stuff that Salah have done in Saudi Arabia just recently, celebrating the link with Newcastle United. Fantastic. Bring it on, please. The other thing I'd say is that I think I said it on here the other night, you should have a look at what the Rugby League do with outside the ground on Magic Weekend. That's fantastic. And it's a great example to anybody who wants to see what they do. And it's everybody. It's a family thing. And they sweep up the food bank as well. So no, if it's a fan zone, I'll be trying it. That's for sure. It strikes me as a way of adding more. I was brought up with a family going to the match, and we always like to make the day an occasion. It wasn't just a match. We had a day out. It was an occasion. And I want to see all the younger people getting used to having an occasion when they go to the match, and especially when we're winning in this way. So I'll patronise it to see how it is. Yeah.
David's asking, he saw a team photo from 1957 today. Would George be in it? I think that was slightly after your time, George, wasn't it?
No, that was just after I joined. It depends what team it was. If it was the first team, it was the professionals. I wouldn't be on it because 57. I was just 15. I'd only been there a year as a 14-year-old schoolboy. So no, that's not a picture I would be on. You'd have to find junior photos to find me.
Okay, John, you tend to go out and do your podcast. You go out and do Vox Pops before the game. I guess it would give you a set area to go and get what you wanted.
You know what it is, right? For the fan zone, bring it on. Because you know what? I'm going to be there before the match. I think it's a fantastic idea. It works in Germany. They have fan zones in Germany, by the way, right? And it could work here as well. I think Seller, our new sponsorship, has come up with some great ideas. Yeah, for me personally, I think it'd be brilliant. It brings in the revenue as well for those who just kind of get in the stadium. And I think it's smart, Steve. It really, really is. And you know what it is, right? I say bring it on. When it's going to come in, I don't know. Maybe in a couple of seasons' time. But as long as it's used right, and I know a lot of people in the comments saying that they can cause problems with people drinking. But look, at the end of the day, if it's a fan zone, the people can't get into the stadium, I think it's a good idea, Steve. People like me and other podcasters can get a clip as well. Interviews for the game.
Yeah, Kev, fan zones. Are you a fan? It's definitely an Americanism.
It is, and we have them here again with this is a Darren Eales effect. We have them all over around the stadium, everywhere. There's different certain sections. If you want to go into one, there's a different thing. There's music. There's different cultures in one. There's different, for families. There's none for families. Whatever. You decide where you want to go. It's all the way around the stadium. I think this is going to be pivotal in terms of the fan experience, for bringing future fans into it in terms of kids, families, whatever. If you can't get into the game, I went to my first game with my mum. My dad has a season ticket in the Millburn Paddock. I had to go in the East End with my mum. So again, like George said, it's a day out. We're known for a good day out, even on an away trip. That's what we go for. We go for the day out. We'll go have a good time, and then we'll travel back home. Whatever the result is. But I think with this new, the Seller deal, I've seen the clips, which was a fantastic venue. It's more of an entertainment venue. There'll be shops. There'll be this. There'll be that. There'll be things that kids can do. There'll be, here in Atlanta, we do it with every train station around the city, or near enough every train station around the city, we call a thing called Soccer in the Streets, where there's a football pitch and things like that, where you can have a kickabout and it's a non-profit, so they can just invite underprivileged kids and come in and have a kickabout with maybe an ex-pro or they'll do things throughout the week in a school holiday type of thing. So there's a lot of different ways that they can use this space at Strawberry Place to promote the club, because it's right there. I think it's a fabulous idea. If I get over there, hopefully soon, I'll have a look at it. I'll like George, I'll go and have a look. If there's alcohol available, there's alcohol available. If not, it is what it is. But again, it's trying to get people around the stadium to create a full atmosphere inside and outside the ground. And no, we'll not have any cheerleaders because they'll be inside the ground and not the nicest people in the world. Anyway,
allegedly.
Oh no, I've got a couple of stories about that which we can't be.
Maybe that's that's after the watershed, Kevin.
That's after the watershed.
I'm saving you, mate. I'm saving you.
No, it's all right.
I'm going to finish on a serious note anyway. This guy, some of you might have seen him on social media today. Fred Tennant.
Yeah.
He's gone missing after the Sam Fender concert at St James's Park. Samantha Reese, good friend of mine on Facebook, has posted that people who know Fred know that he's got some difficulties with his mental health. Please, Fred, let someone know you're safe. Police are searching too. He was wearing a retro Newcastle United top, a waistcoat, and a black and white flat cap and a patchwork jacket when he went missing at the weekend. Northumbria police have put that out as well. If anybody has seen Fred, please, let the police know, let the authorities know. And Fred, if anybody is sitting watching, then please let them know, just to contact home and let people know that he is safe. But as always, fantastic show tonight. Barry, Ian, Darren, George, John, Kevin, everybody in the chat, all the moderators, thank you very much. I'm pre-recording a couple of shows tomorrow because I've got a busy week this week. I'll be doing a transfer show with Ross Gregory. I'll be doing a transfer show with Ben Jacobs. And tomorrow night, I'll be live at 7 o'clock with Liam Kennedy. But thanks for joining us tonight. Take care. See you all next week, lads.
Cheers, boys. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, lads. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
We still do 7 NUFC Matters show
Bye,
a week for
everybody.
free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.